Hello. Uh, yes, we welcome you back to PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet with me, Richard here. Okay, we are looking at this question. It's still grade 11 question. It says that define limiting reagent. Yeah. What is it? What is a limiting reagent? A limiting reagent is the reagent or reactant that is completely used up during the chemical reaction. Yeah, during the reaction, at the end of the reaction, it is completely used up. Yeah, then we come to this one. It says that what is meant by a reagent in excess or excess reagent? What is it? Excess reagent is the reagent that is not completely used up during a chemical reaction. Yes, at the end of the reaction, it is still there. So it is not completely used up. Yeah, then we come to this one. It says that consider the reaction below. This is the equation for the reaction. And they said 20 grams of sulfuric acid was mixed with 12 grams of ammonia. And the question says, identify through calculations the limiting reagent and the reagent which is in excess. Okay, how do we approach this? Okay, I need to tell you that the limiting reagent and the reagent which is in excess is between these two. It's between our sulfuric acid and ammonia. Actually, what I would advise you to do is to write the equation. The equation is H sulfuric acid plus ammonia giving you this salt. Ammonium sulfate. Okay, and from here you have to know that the battle is between these two. What are the two? It's between sulfuric acid and ammonia. One of the two is a limiting reagent and the other is a reagent in excess. So what is the first thing we do? Okay, for sulfuric acid, we know the mass. The mass is 20 grams. Okay, meanwhile for ammonia, we know the mass. And the mass is 12 grams. Next step is to find the number of moles. So we are going to look for moles. To get moles, when you have mass, you need molar mass. So we need molar mass of sulfuric acid, which is going to be, okay, it is going to be 2 for hydrogen, 32 for sulfur, and 16 for oxygen, but times 4, giving you 98. Okay. Meanwhile, for the same applies to ammonia. You are looking for number of moles, but you don't know the molar mass of ammonia. Here it's going to be 14 for nitrogen plus 3, giving you 17. Okay, then we go ahead and calculate the number of moles. From here, then we proceed and get the number of moles. Here, we are going to use the equation N is equal to M over molar mass. And what is the mass? The mass is 20 grams. And the molar mass of sulfuric acid is 98. From here, you get, here we have it. Then we also go to decide and calculate number of moles using the same formula. N is equal to M over molar mass, where M is 12 and molar mass is 17, giving you. So this is what we get. Then the next step, let us use this space. Next step is to compare these two. Okay, so what do? We are having sulfuric acid against ammonia. The ratio is 1 to 2. Then let's quote this one. If we quote sulfuric acid, the number of moles which are reacting is 0.222. Then on assumption that we don't know this one, you can call it X. From there, you find X. Now you have to know what we are doing here. The ratios are what we get from the equation. These are the number of moles we have calculated. And when you use this one, you ignore this one. We'll use it later. In other words, if you react 0.22 moles of sulfuric acid, what is needed of ammonia? That's what we are calculating now. And here we are going to get our AX as 2 times 0.222, giving you, this is what we get. Okay, let me interpret this. If you react 0.22 moles of sulfuric acid, you'll need 0.44 moles of ammonia according to the ratios. Okay, then we go for ammonia for determination. So in our ammonia, this is what you have to know. Okay, we are going to find moles supplied minus moles needed. Okay, the moles supplied for ammonia is 0.71. We have it here. But the moles required is 0.444. The difference is what we use to determine whether ammonia is the excess reagent or the limiting reagent. If the difference is positive, like in this case, it means that ammonia is in an excess, that after reaction, there will be some ammonia remaining. So if ammonia is the one which is in excess, it means that sulfuric acid is the limiting reagent. So let us check here. What's the difference? The difference is, so this is the difference, which is 0.266 moles. So it means that for ammonia, what was supplied is more than what is required. So it means that ammonia, NB, ammonia is in excess. So if ammonia is in excess, then its partner on the side of the reactant which this time around is sulfuric acid. It's the limiting reagent. Therefore, sulfuric acid is the limiting reagent. So that is that. We have just identified, if I might remind you, that ammonia is the excess and this one is the limiting. Yeah, then we come to this question. It says that calculate the mass of ammonium sulfate formed. Okay, for this case, I recommend to rewrite the equation first, which is supposed to be sulfuric acid plus ammonia, giving you ammonium sulfate. Then after writing the equation, what is the next step to earmark the parts of the equation you are going to use? Here I trust stoichiometry is the easiest way out. So the question is looking for mass of ammonium sulfate. So we are going to make use of this part. Then what else? This side we pick the limiting reagent. And we found out that our limiting reagent is sulfuric acid. So those are the two parts of the equation we are going to make use of. Then the next step is to move from known to unknown. So what is the known in this case? The known is sulfuric acid. Oh, why do we say it's known? We know its mass, which is 20 grams. Okay. And from there, what else do we know? We know its molar mass. We found it as 98. Okay. What else do we know? We can find its number of moles. Using what equation? We can use the equation which is number of moles is equal to mass over molar mass. So in this case, the number of moles, what's the mass? 20 grams. What's the molar mass? 98. Here we have the number of moles. And yeah, so we have this number of moles. And this is what you have to know, that from the equation, this is 1, and what we have this side is also 1. So from here, we set up the ground for comparison. You have to remember that we are comparing sulfuric acid, which is 1, and ammonium sulfate, which is also 1. But you know number of moles of sulfuric acid. We found it as 0.204. So if the ratio is 1 to 1, it means that this side you're going to have also 0.204. So next, now you go to our ammonium sulfate. You list everything you know about it. Okay. First of all, you know number of moles. We've just found it to be 0.204 moles. Okay. What else do we know about ammonium sulfate? We know its molar mass from the molecular formula. Okay, what do we have here? You have nitrogen, which is 14 times 2, plus hydrogen, which is 4 times 2, plus sulfur, which is 32, plus oxygen, which is 16, but times 4, giving you, giving you this. So with this data, what is our next step? Our next step is to calculate the mass. Using what formula? You have to remember that the formula says that N is equal to M over molar mass. So when you substitute for N, which is 0.204, and you're looking for mass, but you have a molar mass as 132, so you can go ahead and calculate M. From here, you have to know that our M, after cross multiplying, is going to be 0.204 times 132, giving you, this is what you get as the mass of the product, which is ammonium sulfate formed. And with that, I would like to thank you for your time. The channel is PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, with me, Richard, here. See you next time, but don't forget to subscribe, to comment, to like, to share. Yes, we believe you will not regret. Bye-bye.